Greetings, guys. All right, I'm about to show y'all something real neat. Greetings. The more I talk, I want y'all to see what the lights do in the background, okay? Which is why I came on here to go live with y'all. Y'all see this? Do y'all see the lights dancing to the sound of my voice? Y'all see this, right? It's not over. Watch this. Watch what happens when I play music. That's what I'm talking about. Got my lights in here dancing, y'all. Got my lights in here dancing. We got a real party going on, y'all. It's the party starters. I'm going to call these lights behind me the party starters. This is just a freestyle. I wanted to come on here because I got my lights dancing in the background. I want y'all to see them. Ow. Oh, goodness. I hope everybody's been having a good day, y'all. My day, y'all, I made it through. I made it through. The devil comes to collect. Let's not forget that. The devil comes to collect, y'all. Okay? And for whatever reason, the devil likes to mess and antagonize us in these seasons that we're here. And so we have to be very strong because the whole goal, a flood warning has been detected in this area. Y'all, we did have torrential downpours, but I didn't know it was going to be like a flood warning. That's interesting. Don't stop, put it in rotation. Obvious, you know it's obvious. I just feel so overwhelmed by so many things, y'all. Let me let people know that I'm live. Most of y'all might be asleep by now, relaxing. I came on here a bit late, but I'm still going to let people know that I am live, y'all. So tune on in when you can, okay? I try to bring the good energy with me, even though we know how demonic spirits and demonic energy is, right? Yo, you know how we ride to on each side. House. Who you know that's doing it for y'all? Putting on a brand new house is nothing for him. It ain't tricking. If you got it, I got it. That's what's up. Hopefully he's generous. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, do we, y'all? They say all that in the music, but in reality it'd be like craziness going on, right? But you know what? That is like I think that's my favorite song on the whole album that he has. I love that song. So yes, y'all, get it, Chris Brown. I am not mad at all. Not mad at all. It's like he is, I don't know, coming to a phase where he's like just bossing up even more, y'all. Hopefully so. Y'all have to excuse me. I washed my hair last night. As y'all saw, I blow dried it today. So this is what we have going on. No flat ironing. We had rain today. So basically, I'm just going to put it up like this. It's loose, y'all. I was trying to make it tight. Sorry, I'm doing this on camera. Should I apologize? No, I'm not going to apologize for this. Okay. Let's see if I can get it tighter. Don't stop, put it in rotation. Obvious, you know it's obvious. Yeah, I just had to play that, you know. You deserve BJ wings and champagne showers. Okay. Yeah, what did Chris Brown say? Chris Brown say these ain't loyal. He said, "Want a rich ninja, won't you? And these can't do nothing for you." Well, I guess it would be easy for him, right? Yeah, man. He said, "Just got rich." Took a broke ninja. Hey. I know people be hating, huh? They probably would be hating. Y'all, my hair is just doing its own thing right now, y'all. But as you can hear, the more I talk, the more these lights dance. And that is the most amazing thing I wanted to point out to y'all. Can't get my hair right, but I got these lights up, y'all. Ow! Got these lights up, y'all. I was looking semi cute today, even though I didn't do much with myself. I got my dress on. I was very comfortable. You'd be surprised what I had on my feet. I had my shinies on. Where are they at? They're not in here with me. I had my shinies on. And when I say shinies, I had my glittery slides on. Glittery silver slides. Guess what I wore with them? Y'all will not guess. I said I'm going to be comfortable today. I wore ankle socks. Yes, I did. I should not have done that. I never do that. But I wanted to be comfortable. I went out in public, even to the store like that. I said, you know what? F these people. I don't have anyone to impress. So that's what I wore on my feet today. Plus, it was raining. I didn't want my feet to get wet. So I wore something comfortable because my shinies are so ever comfortable, y'all. If you don't know what my shinies are, I'm gonna have to show y'all. But they're like slides and they're glittery. They're all glitter. Like they all look like they're made of rhinestones or something. So very sparkly. Can't miss them. Can't miss my feet, y'all. So I know when I walked up in the gas station, I saw a lady looking down like that. I knew what she was looking at, but I didn't care. I didn't care, y'all, because I didn't come there for people's approval. I came there for gas, okay? And that's how you got to be sometimes. You cannot worry about the opinions of others when you already know you got style in this world, right? Like, I'm not loving my hair right now. I'm not feeling it, y'all. I am not feeling it. Oh no. I don't know what's going on. Y'all, I had this thing tied around my the edges to hold them down. Y'all know how I always have something tied around me. Forgive me for looking in the distance. I turned the TV on. Okay, because I want to see what I'm looking like on the screen. I need to see what I'm looking like. Let me turn myself down. Okay, so it's coming in sort of clear. Okay. I see what's going on. Shout out to the person that's in the building. I know a couple of y'all came on and signed off. Shout out to y'all. Obvious, you know it's obvious. Obvious. Hey, don't stop, put it in rotation. Yes. Yes indeed. This is to hold the edges down, y'all. All right, all the ladies, y'all know what I mean when I say we're trying to hold down these edges. You know, it takes a lot of work for that to happen. So anyway, y'all, we have a torrential downpour going on outside. Just in case y'all didn't know, it's been going on for quite a while. I actually cooked and I haven't eaten yet because it's like, you know how after you cook, you lose your appetite. So I said, I'm going to wait until I get super hungry. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and tend to my dish, y'all. So I used spinach noodles and I put like these little stir fry. I got like red, yellow, and orange peppers in there. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I seasoned it. I flavored it. Um, yeah, it's like a little concoction, a dish that I put together. So y'all, just feel my vibe. Feel my vibe. You know what I mean? I'm live. Just feel the vibe. I don't really have a set topic, y'all. I just want to come say hi to y'all. I am streaming on two channels at once. So I'm streaming on my other channel that I normally don't go live on, which is Seven Wonder, Brown Girls Are Beautiful. And I'm also live on Brown Girls Are Beautiful Seven Wonder. Isn't that clever, y'all? Why did I have to make two channels? Well, let's think. Let's think about this thing. COVID is the reason for it, y'all. Oh, look who jumped in my lap, y'all. It never fails. It never fails. She always wants her attention. It's not about you right now. Y'all, I was watching something earlier today before I left the house. Exhibit has a cat that he's been having for 20 years, and I didn't know it. Did y'all know Exhibit, the former rapper from Pimp My Ride, had a cat named Thunder? It's a female cat, and he goes through all lengths and extreme measures to make sure she is well tended to. She has kidney problems, and he actually has her, I guess, he has her special medical care going. I wish I could see her. And she's purring. You probably can hear it through the microphone, y'all. Yes, just a little baby-fied little thing she is. So, y'all, topics. Like I said, the devil always comes to collect. The devil is always attacking like the monster that it is. Don't look at me like that. Why are you looking at me like this? And when you try to get to your place of happiness, there's always somebody hating on your experiences. There's always somebody lurking in the shadows, monitoring what's going on in your life, trying to see how they can throw um, just nonsense in your life and make life difficult. Let's just say that. That never stops. It never ceases, y'all. Hey, so I was just talking to a colleague of mine's earlier, and we both agree that America is very low vibrational, y'all. I hate to be the one to break it to people that don't know this, but America is very low vibrational. If you can get out, I would caution you to please get out. Go explore the world. Um, you just probably need to be careful and have someone that you can trust, that you can travel with. You can't really trust everybody to leave the country with. You can't even trust people. Stop. Don't you bite my button off my jacket. You can't really trust people right here in America. So if you can't trust them here, I wouldn't trust them outside of the country. Yes, take a lady. I don't know how in the world this would work with them getting on a plane, but they would just have to deal with it, y'all. If y'all want to come with me, y'all just gonna have to deal with being on that plane. They say cats sometimes don't do well with plane rides, and they give them catnip or they give them something. So I don't even know how that would work because they can barely handle a car ride to the vet, and the vet is not even that far from here, is it? No, y'all, not at all. So we got people hating on the live stream for some reason. But that's not going to stop anything over here, right? Like I said, demonic energies are always in the building watching, always in the building attacking. Um, but that's energy is, y'all. People get very hyper fixated for some reason. Yes, here she is, y'all. You want to say hi? Oh, she jumped down. Good. So, yes, y'all, torrential downpour going on outside. I just decided to come on here live with y'all just to say hi. No fixed topic. If you have something you want to talk about, type it in the comment section. Don't stop, put it in rotation. Obvious, it's obvious. Oh, and I love my lights, how they dance to the sound of my voice, y'all. Ah! Yeah, I was like, let me put it. Remember last night I was telling y'all. Yes, fly over like exactly, King Hazy. Last night I was telling you I had my remote and I was like, I don't know how to use all the features on here because there are so many buttons. But I said, let me try the music one and see what it does. So I tapped the music on my phone. For some reason, Apple was not cooperating. So I played it on YouTube. And then I noticed the vibration of the light started moving to the music. Stop. Oh my gosh. She does. You're going in the cage. That's what's about to happen. Just want attention, y'all. Just want attention. Wasn't doing this at first. Every time I get on here, she hears my voice. I'm talking to y'all. This is what happens. So, yeah, if you like lights, check these out, y'all, because you surely will enjoy them. Somebody was like, oh, flashing lights like that will give you a seizure. Y'all, I don't speak negative over myself, and neither should you. So, whoever is messing with the channel, F you, okay, because we're still here. But like I said, don't speak negative over yourself. Be careful who you talk to. I will definitely do it. I'm just probably going to keep them like they are for right now because I love the setting that they're on. They're 30 feet long, like I was telling y'all last night, and they have all these different features, and I am enjoying all the features that they have and learning about them. Yeah, I'm like a child in a toy store. I remember when they had Toys R Us, y'all. You know, they took that store away, they shut it down. No more Toys R Us. All that is gone. But those were the days back in the day when people had, a tangible toy store that they could go to. I think they had another store called KB Toys. I never went to that store. So, whoever it is behind the scenes, stay mad, stay hating because I am still here, y'all. And I can tell that somebody is hating from behind the scenes. Okay, yeah, I'm just checking my phone for a second. Just checking my phone. I need to make some videos for my real estate channel as well. I want to talk about the pre-approval letter. Are never accepted without a pre-approval letter. Again, offers are not accepted without a pre-approval letter. It helps to strengthen your chances of winning the house if there are multiple offers. Now, it also confirms your ability to afford the home purchase. Again, it confirms your ability to afford the home purchase. All right? Little nasty idiots in the back accepted. So, which few are? What do you mean? What do you mean by most offers are not accepted? What do you mean by that? So, which are? The strongest one for the seller is accepted. So, it depends on what the seller is looking for. Some sellers have a house that's for sale, but it's contingent upon them selling another house. So, if you're willing to work with those terms, meaning you're willing to do a lease back to them, with the purchase of the home, they may be willing to accept your offer over someone else that wants to move in right away. That's one example. Another example is if someone offers up more due diligence. They may be willing to accept that offer over another offer because maybe it proves that this person is more serious about purchasing the property. And what is due diligence? Not every state has due diligence, but due diligence is the amount that's paid to the seller, and then it could be paid in the form of a check directly to the seller to take the home off the market, so that the buyer or the purchaser can undergo inspections, the appraisal, secure financing, and do all of the investigation on that home and that property. So that's another caveat that helps sway the seller one way over another. Maybe the offer that they're giving is a little bit more. You might have someone that's giving a cash offer over a finance offer. You might have someone that has a different loan type that they are willing to accept. And the reason they may be willing to accept like a conventional loan over an FHA loan is because the conventional loan might not be as stringent when it comes to the inspections. An FHA loan is a little bit more strict when it comes to the guidelines of the inspection because it's a federal loan that they're giving out to the purchaser. So they want to make sure that the home or the property meets all of the inspections to whatever their standards are. So a lot of these things has a lot to do with which offer the seller will accept. But it's very personable, um, and it's really up to that seller and the seller's agent to kind of inform that seller on which offer may be best suited for them. I know that when one of my clients purchased, we were dealing with multiple offers and we won it, y'all. We won it. We won it. Okay, most offers aren't accepted. So what you're okay. Without the pre-approval letter? No. They're not they're not really King Hazy, they're not really going to entertain anybody that does not have a pre approval letter unless you can bring what's called proof of funds, meaning you have a letter from your financial institution showing that you have funds that you can pay in cash on hand to purchase that home. You have to have that letter drafted up by your financial institution. That's the only way they will take you seriously. If you don't have a pre approval letter, they're not even going to consider that as an option because you are definitely not showing that you have secured financing for that home. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that helps y'all. I just thought that was an interesting topic. So that is what I want to do my video on for my real estate channel. I want to talk about the power of pre-approval, what it means, how it is helpful, and what it can do for the borrower. And then also, of course, we know cash is usually always, a great way to purchase real estate because you don't have to go through a whole lot of other stuff. You know that when the person comes with cash, you can have a quicker close. So it really just depends on what that seller is looking for in that particular offer. There are some sellers that do not want to sell their home to investors. They want to keep this home in a community that's going to be like a family oriented community. They want to sell it to a family, and they will put that they are not interested in selling their home to any investors. They'll say no investors. I've seen that happen. So, but people always can fake stuff and make it seem like it's going to be one way when really their whole um, contingency is to basically put that home up for rent as soon as they purchase it. Now, usually with when you purchase a home, on on the loan, it will tell you the terms of how long you have to actually be in that house before you can actually start renting it out. That community might have stipulations as well on how long you have to use the home as a primary residence before you can actually turn it into a rental. Everybody doesn't necessarily go by those rules, and nobody really goes to check to see if they're following the rules. So this is why you can get into like a community, and then they have, the issue with a bunch of renters living there. So yeah. You said, okay, that's what I was getting at. Okay, well, I'm glad I answered your question. Y'all, we got haters still in the building, y'all. They still hating, y'all. They so mad. They so mad. They are so sad. Hold on, y'all. Let me send another message out. And one thing the devil doesn't like, when you smile and you laugh and you're enjoying your own energy and you're not bothering anybody. The devil hates that, y'all. Just know that the devil hates it. It's obvious, obvious, obvious. Any more questions, King Hazy? Just let me know. So I'm thinking about making that a particular topic, and I was going to do like a tour of one of the properties and just do a voiceover explaining that in like about a minute or less. And then I was going to post it on my TikTok, my Instagram, and of course my YouTube channel. And then I'm going to send it out to, some of the clientele that I'm currently working with, because I think if I break stuff down, information into little small increments, people can digest the information a little bit easier, and it makes it more digestible instead of coming at them with a whole lot of information, because people can get overwhelmed by that. And we know people have very short attention spans, and you might say one thing and they might hear something else and misinterpret it. So I think that's very important too. And I was in the office a few weeks ago talking to, she's like the office director or something of that effect. And she was saying one thing she knows is that people that are former teachers make really good realtors because they make sure they explain things very well. So hopefully the client can understand what's going on. And y'all, that happens to be true, because there's another realtor that I met when I first joined the firm, and she was so well astute with her knowledge. Like, she was just so well prepared in the way that she explained things. And I later found out that she used to be a former teacher. She was in education, but she does very well with real estate. Melanated lady from New York, and she's from, oh, I forgot which one of the islands she's from that she represents. But yeah, she does very well, very well. And I really like talking to her, y'all. Just gets me so excited that, you know, you can actually pick something that you like doing, that you enjoy doing, and you're able to educate people about it, because there's a lot of information that people might not have known. And I was having an HOA Zoom meeting. I think this was yesterday, with a board member of the HOA. And we were just talking about how home ownership is a mindset, and a lot of melanated people are not mentally prepared to be homeowners because they are very intimidated by the thought process of purchasing and owning a house. And they always say, well, we never own it because of the property taxes. We never own it because of the real estate taxes. But then I hear a lot of people say that they want to get land and they want to purchase land. But you never own the land because you always have to pay taxes on that. You have to pay property taxes on the land. So it's the same thing with a house. When you drive a car, you pay property taxes on the car, or they take away your decal, right? And then what does that what does that do? Make you out of compliance. So if you're in that jurisdiction, they pull you over and tell you you get a ticket. So this whole land is built on nonsense. But what you can do with real estate is just leverage to your best ability. You have more say so over, I guess, being in a home or a house instead of being in a rental property where you really don't have much say so over. And there are ways that you can navigate those things. Now, I know people always talk about the equity and leveraging equity in your house and your home, which this can be the case, but I really would try not to, if at all possible, tap into those funds and just, keep them secured and protected. Um, you just don't want to start playing around with the equity in your home. That's just how I personally feel. Now, I know that there have been people out there, because I've spoken to them, telling me that they they want to get a house and they're going to live in a rental property, and they're going to use the house so that they can use the funds to leverage. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I always feel that you should have a primary residence first and foremost to live in. Secure your primary residence first so you can be stable. And secondly, if you want to get another investment property, do it that way. That's how I would do it, but some people don't do it. I hear a lot of people talk about obtaining duplexes. Not all areas have an abundance of duplexes and things of that nature. So when they say these things, they really don't know what they're talking about, because it really is going to be contingent upon on where you live to be able to find a structure like that. And it might not be in an area that you feel comfortable with. And they always say, oh, I'm going to live in one part and I'm going to rent the other part out and have that to cover my mortgage. Well, that sounds good in theory, right? But a lot of people don't do the research to even know how much they would charge in rent for something like that to occur. And then you have to understand that you're sharing a wall with someone. What if you two get into it and y'all don't get along? What if they have guests and company over that you really don't like? So people have to take these things into account when they make all of these assumptions and talk about all these things. Then I hear people talk about tax liens. Oh, I'm just going to go to the courthouse and I'm going to, pay the taxes on a property so I can obtain this house. A lot of times you can do that, but if you get this house, you just got to be understanding about the fact that a lot of these homes that may have these tax liens might not be in the best physical condition, because you got to think about it. To maintain a home, it does take money, right? And if a person can't keep up the taxes on the home, do you think they were able to maintain the structure of the home, the interior of the home? Probably not, y'all. That's why the home got taken. So you still might have to put money into it, but because people don't know these things, they just go off of what they hear other people say and they start mimicking the same things that they've heard other people talk about. Well, how do I know this? Because I've had people tell me about this stuff, and they really don't know what goes into it. You can go to these auctions, but mm, in theory, you only have a certain amount of time to pay these tax liens. You can't just think that you're going to have time to pay it. No, there's a deadline that you actually have to have these funds paid on this home. People like to talk about foreclosures because they think they're getting a deal, which I would caution people to be very careful about that, because foreclosures usually are not in the best physical condition either. Foreclosed homes sometimes are torn apart and damaged. And if you think that you're going to go in there and purchase a foreclosure, you're more than likely may not be receiving a loan to purchase that home if that home is not going to pass inspection. Okay. So if you're talking about a foreclosure, I guess that you're going to come up with thousands upon thousands of dollars to pay for this house. See, these are the things that people are not aware of when they talk about purchasing because they always want to circumnavigate the conventional way of purchasing a house. When really, if you go the conventional way of purchasing a house, you have more protections, in my personal opinion, because you don't have to worry about this home that you purchase off market. It's not under like the real estate commission where they're able to protect the consumer, because off market properties don't necessarily have to be put into the MLS, the multiple listing service. So you'll have people trying to leverage deals amongst themselves, and then they can get caught up in a whole slew of things that they never knew that was going on with that house. This is another reason why we hear about people having house horrors and having home buyers remorse, because they didn't do their due diligence, they didn't do their research, they weren't properly educated by their What's good, Kaylee? They weren't properly educated by their realtor. The realtor might not have been looking out for their best interests. They were thinking more about the commission and just trying to hurry up and put this person in a house. You don't want to do that, especially to a first time home buyer, y'all, because it's not going to look good for your reputation. The first person they're going to blame when something goes wrong with that house is the realtor. Unfortunately, even if you told them and gave them your personal opinion of the house, a lot of times they won't listen to you, and they're going to do what they want to do because they want what they want. Right? So, this is why they say always do what? Put it in writing. And we know legally you're supposed to put things in writing. On a corporate plantation job, what do? Put it in writing. So they can't come back and sue you, because clients technically can come back and sue you depending upon what state you're in. There are no statute of limitations in a particular state. So every state is different. You got to be very careful, because you don't want your real estate license to be basically put in danger. Something like that happened to a broker in charge that I know, and they were telling us about what happened. So, an example of this was, there was a house that was for sale, and I think he was representing the seller in the sale. Okay. He was representing the seller in the sale. Well, unbeknownst to him, the seller was falsifying documents to make it believable that he was the actual rightful owner. He had documents showing that he was the owner. Realtors, we don't we can verify people in certain ways, but it's really when you get to that title search, and it's up to that escrow attorney and that title attorney to verify these things. They do an extensive search. It goes up to 30 years. The title search protects you for 30 years. Okay? It goes back 30 years. So it went through to the title attorney. They did not find any discrepancies. This house was about to go, into the sale of the purchaser. During this process, the rightful owner came up to stake claim to this property that was about to be sold, and was like, "This is my property. I'm the rightful owner." So at that point, the broker in charge was like, "You know what? I'll help you get your property back." So they had to stop the sale of the property. Well, he did do that. He spoke to his attorney, and they got everything situated, and the guy was able to stake claim to his property and get his property back. That's called real estate fraud, y'all. So real estate fraud does happen a lot. People don't talk about it. Real estate fraud happens in a number of ways. So that happened. So anyway, this happened a few years ago. Well, the real estate commission came and said, now, because this took place, even though he did everything that he was supposed to do to make this right, to put the property back into the rightful owner's, you know, um, ownership, there was nothing else he could have done. They said that he would have to actually be presented in some type of public announcement. The real estate commission wanted this to be like put on like a public platform of what had happened, even though he really did nothing wrong. He had no way of knowing that the seller was defrauding everybody, right? Because it's really not his job to do these searches. He can only search but so much, but to have the tools and all of the background information, that's done by a title attorney, y'all. That's done by the real estate attorneys. That's why you have real estate attorneys. Realtors are not real estate attorneys. We are trained to operate within real estate law. But as far as contracts, we cannot write a contract. We fill in the blanks of a contract. That's the difference. So when a realtor practice real estate, we all have to operate under errors and omissions insurance, which a lot of times, if you are a notary, you have the same thing. Errors and omissions insurance covers you if an error or a mistake is made, or if there's something that you did not know that you did not properly do, then you can have attorney representation um, for this transaction. So that's why you have errors and omissions insurance to protect you as well and the client. But yeah, in this case, that was a case of real estate fraud. Another case of real estate fraud that people have told me about that many people may be unaware of is when people go to rent properties. You all, people will pose like they are the landlord to the property, and they will have people to wire money to them for the down payment or the deposit. Let me say that the deposit, the security deposit to rent a place which they do not own. And then once the person actually goes to get the keys, that property is not available. Someone actually that I was speaking with over the phone they were looking for some rental properties told me that this happened to them, and they were taken advantage of upwards of a couple of thousands of dollars, you all. So this is why you can take a risk when you're looking for rental properties and you don't have a licensed realtor to help you with that as well. And I didn't know this, y'all, until I became a realtor. I didn't know people did all of these things because all of the properties that I've rented on my own. Also, be careful about these when you go and you pay these fees for like application fees, because a lot of times if you're not careful there could be other people that have already put an application in, especially with the private owners. They may have already collected an application fee from someone that they're going to accept their application. They will still allow you to put in an application just so they can collect your application fee, and you might not even get that property. I can remember paying, application fees for different rental properties that I was going to see. And so now what I do to protect the client, if I'm helping them find a rental property to rent, I will contact the listing agent for that property. I will ask them, do you already have any offers or applications that you're accepting or that has been accepted? And they will let me know if they have a strong application or they're still looking, right? So that way I can let the client know. There was a young lady that I knew and she was looking at a particular property, and that guy was nice enough to call me and let me know that her application was not strong enough. Instead of her wasting her time paying the application fee, that she could just save her money. And I appreciated the honesty. So y'all, this is what, can be done from one realtor to another. Hi, True Grizzlies. How you doing? So I think people need to be aware of these things. So don't feel that, you know, if you're out here by yourself, that you can't contact a realtor to help you look for a rental. You can. A lot of realtors don't like dealing with rental properties because y'all, the last rental property that I helped someone with, you have to hunt and track your money down. They don't like to pay on time. You can get like a commission fee for that. Sometimes it could be half the cost of the rent. um, it can be $1,000. It could be your commission could be like $500. It could be 10% of the monthly rent. It just depends on whatever that fee is. But even though it's a fee that's paid to your firm, you still are due that money because they take their whatever cut they take, and then they take out, if there are any fees or whatever, and then the rest comes to you into your bank account. Now, if you have your own firm and you are operating separately, then all that money goes to you. But the thing about it is, you really have to be tracking your money down. People don't necessarily like to pay you on time. I helped out a client, y'all. back in November. It was January, February, March, April. I don't think the money came until May. And I had to constantly stay on the phone, emailing, calling nonstop, y'all, just for that commission to come in. And it was just like, for what reason did I have to go through that? But you go through that. So that's why a lot of realtors don't really like messing with rentals. Now, there are some apartment complexes that you can show, like the high rises and things like that, that will pay you like 1,500, $1,000 if that client gets into that property. That's your commission that you get for basically finding them a qualified renter, right? Because they have to be qualified in order to rent the property. So that's pretty much how that works. Now, I, for one, I charge a fee to show properties. I charge a fee. If you want me to take you and show you rental properties, I'm not doing it free of charge. My time is not free. My energy is not free. My expertise is not free. My gas is not free. So when you start talking about showing properties, I charge a fee for that. Now in real estate, what you do for one, you must do for all. So if you charge one client, they say you have to charge all, because then you could be in violation of the Equal Housing Opportunity Act, y'all. Okay? So, and you have to be careful about what you say about a community, what you say about if it's a safe community, what you say about the school district. You can't really tell them if you think this is a good school district, if this is a safe neighborhood. You can direct them to the information where they can do their research, right? And you have to be very careful because there are certain protected groups of class groups, um, for the Equal Housing Opportunity Act, right? And it's based on familial status, gender, sexual orientation, things of that nature. So, all of these things you have to take into account when practicing real estate, because you never know if they may send someone undercover to test you to see if you're going to overstep your boundaries. And you don't want that, because then that you could be brought in front of the real estate board. You don't want your license to be at stake for something like that, y'all. So you got to be careful. A lot of people don't understand when they're being discriminated against in real estate. That's another thing that I find is very interesting. A lot of clients work with realtors that are not the most upstanding and don't really treat them how they should be treated. And one of my colleagues was telling me about a lady that actually went through something like that. And instead of her, because you can fire your realtor. I mean, you can cut ties with them. You don't have to work with your realtor. You can actually get something written up. It's called a termination of agreement, right? Because at first you sign a buyer's agency agreement. It's an agreement saying that I will work with you. We're going to work together. It's not a contract, it's an agreement. And it's between you. It's really between the firm and the client. It doesn't really, because you're representing the firm. Okay, that's how that works. But if that person feels like this is not a good fit, you can terminate that agreement and the client can terminate that agreement. That's how that goes. And I let all clients know, if I don't think it's a good fit, I can terminate or you can terminate. I've never had a client that didn't want to work with me, but if there's something that's going on, you let me know, because people just have different ways that they like to operate, ways that they like to communicate. It could be by text, by email, by phone. Sometimes people feel like, what is it, Tinkerpoo? Some people want to feel that they like a lot of communication from you, or they feel like you're not thinking about them, all types of things. You really have to be very privy to people's unique styles of how they like to be catered to, basically, because it's a service industry. At the same time, you can't let people run you rampant either and take advantage, because people will take advantage of your time if they feel that you are just going to freely meet them all over the city and show them all types of homes, and they're not pre-approved to purchase a house. People are not going to do that, especially not this day and time, y'all. But I mean, you can show a few houses to build up a rapport. Before you show a house to someone, you have to get them to sign a buyer agency agreement or some type of agreement before you enter that house. That is actually a rule by the real estate commission. Okay. So if you ever had to go through that, that is why. All right. The realtor's not making that up. But I just thought that's some useful information for people to know out there. Because like I said, a lot of times people don't know certain things, and so they get frustrated because they don't understand the process. And so this is why I have these conversations, y'all, which really I should be having on my real estate channel right now. Y'all, I think I'm getting a little hungry now. Let's see, I've been on here for 53 minutes. I want to say thank you to everybody that has joined the channel. To all the haters in the back, keep hating. We're still here. Tell them to join our fan club. This is an episode of Brown.Girls.R.Beautiful. All right. You can follow me on Instagram, BGAB_TV on Instagram as well. I'm also on TikTok, BGAB Clothing. I also have a website that's bgabclothing.com. And yeah, definitely check out my clothes, y'all. I'm not wearing anything today. I got Melanated King shirts, Melanated Queen tank tops. Y'all, for the ladies, you'll love the vibrant colors. You'll love the design. Everything I design, I came up with myself. I print a lot of the stuff myself. I don't go through a third party. Most of the time, I do it myself. So it's printed by the hands of a goddess, you guys. I definitely hope that you check that out. I need to go live. I also have a channel for my clothing brand, but I stopped really posting on there like I was. I need to start going live on there too. And also check me out on Rumble. That's Living Legend TV, guys, on Rumble. Download it to your phone. It's just like YouTube. But if you're thinking about starting a channel, I would highly suggest that you start Rumble because Rumble will give you commercials and monetize you immediately. Okay. So, anyway, that's it, y'all. Hopefully, y'all like my lights. Give this video a thumbs up. Remember to always walk in your divinity. Until next time, I will tap in with y'all later. You haben Sie alles einen guten Nacht. And, if you're in another part of the world, you have a good day, good AM, and everything like that. I'll tune in with y'all later, y'all. I gotta go eat my food, y'all. All right, goodbye, y'all. Signing out. Signing out, y'all.